Alright, we should be back live again. Let's see.
Tanya.
For like, I'm not gonna lie, Boston. For like a hot minute, I thought about just calling Knobs back and just streaming via the channel because I have the ability to.
Oh, yeah.
Just like pop it back up and we'll get Boston back in here in a minute. It's TVGP after dark.
I did like an update. Boston power went out.
Yeah.
Alright,
We're back.
you guys ready?
Yes.
Alright, we left off at the end of Power Star Golf, so let's just move on to the next game.
All right.
All right.
Alright.
So anyway, are we going?
Well, starting in 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, we had some power problems. Yay,
Yeah.
home ownership.
Hooray.
So we left off talking about a little bit of Power Star Golf, and I think we're kind of wrapping that biz up. So let's scooch on to the next one.
All right. Well, lastly, this week played a little more Saints Row the Third. Just plugging along. Almost done with it. About to go take on Terry Hulk Hogan and something or other. But
Of course.
Nice.
But yeah, I enjoyed the crap out of the game, and I was even more excited what in the news story. So we'll talk about Saints later. So
Yeah.
what's up, Hannah?
Not much. What's up with you guys?
Oh, you know, power.
Yeah, just
hanging
usual.
out.
Yeah, we're talking
hanging
about
out.
games, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I played a couple games this week.
We're like Bud Light. We're down for whatever.
Yeah, I finally am done with the massive amount of hours I've been working. So I took a 6-day weekend and I put it to good use.
Nice.
I played a little bit of Wizorb and PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale on the Vita. I completely forgot Wizorb was on the Vita.
Yeah.
Because it's in like the PlayStation Mobile like minis section.
Oh, yeah. I hate
Which
that.
it's terrible because that game should be it should come with every Vita. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a really great game.
It's
It was
like the Hexic HD of the Vita.
yeah.
Oh
it's
man, I haven't played Hexic in ages.
Haha, gotcha.
Nice. I haven't. God, what game was it? It was. I don't know. Lost my train of thought entirely there. Played a little bit more of PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, single player. Just didn't have the gusto to sit down and do like a multiplayer match. Plus, I want to get my rank up with a few different characters before I go online. And it's like, oh, he's rank 0 with that character. Let's beat up on that guy. Because you know that would happen. You'd get a free for all and be like, oh, well, we're
Fresh
all ranked,
meat, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I played a little bit of that. Played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid, the original. Mostly thanks to all the guys on the Giant Bombcast talking about it and the whole video series they have going, where one of the guys on the Bombcast plays it for the first time ever.
Yeah. It's been really great.
It's really fantastic. I was actually watching it while we were down. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Played a bunch more Diablo 3. I think I'm at like level 53 with my Barbarian. It's just such a great game to just sit and play and like listen to something else while you're doing it. Like you can just sit and play it and you don't have to worry about any other thing.
Yep.
At all. It's just such a relaxing game too. And I bumped the difficulty up to expert mode and things got a little bit
A little
bit more difficult. Yeah, things get a little hairy.
Yeah.
But I'm getting new gear on the regular finally.
Nice.
It always
On
felt
the
like with normal and hard, it always felt like every maybe hour or so I might get a new piece of gear that could replace something I have. But it was always like a struggle of like, well, it's got better stats, but this thing has this really cool, random proc on it that happens every once in a while that I really like, and this one boosts this specific skill. So, but I finally actually sat down and played this non-remote play on the PS4, and my God, is this game gorgeous on the PS4?
Yeah, it really is.
Completely smooth 60 frames per second. I actually sat down and like just the loot screens were moving just so beautifully, and just between all the different items that you can equip. It's really, really great.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think this is going to be like the game I play until the next Diablo comes out.
Yeah, until Diablo 4 comes out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's really, if you haven't played a Diablo game ever, don't worry about it. Just go pick up this game. Just go pick up the third one. No matter what system you're on, just get it, try it out, and if you don't like it, well, you're wrong.
Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah, my apologies. I also played a bunch of a new game that came out this week on Steam called Lethal League. And this is, it's the projectile fighting game.
Yeah, Giant Bomb plays that a bunch, and it is so fun to watch.
It is crazy fun to play, too.
Nice.
So the basic idea of this game is, so there's 5 characters, and it's sort of, it looks like Jet Set Radio as far as the art style.
Yeah.
Very bold colors, very, flat character models. Yeah.
Yeah.
So each character has, something that they hit this orb with that's in the middle. It's actually the other JZ actually sort of puts it perfectly. It looks like windjammers with bats.
Exactly,
yeah, sort of. So you hit this ball and it tags as your color. And if that ball actually hits another player without them hitting it back, they get knocked out. It's up to 4 players, so the goal is to win a round by knocking out all the other players.
Is this dodgeball with bats?
Sort of.
Kind of.
Yeah,
it's 2D though, so it's
2D.
Super fast paced. Because every time
Yeah.
you hit it, the ball gets faster.
Yes. So every time you hit it, the ball gets faster, and the best part is when it gets up to a certain speed and you hit it. The game actually pauses and does like a really nice charge up, it's like DBZ.
Yep.
It's like you hit it and it pauses and it charges up and like it just, you see the energy expand out from it and the background changes.
It's this thing where you
gets
just like
crazier. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took a little while. Me and my friend Mike were playing this, and he pointed out that. At the bottom of the screen, there's a little like HUD that shows like the speed of the ball at the current time, and then these 2 little meters on either side, and it's sort of the whole bottom looks like a jam box, like a boom box, and there's 2 little meters that look sort of like volume meters, and when you hit it and it stops, those meters go to 0. And then charge back up either slowly or quickly depending on how hard you hit it. And the way to keep that game going fast-paced and the way to avoid getting killed when it gets to that level of the game is to watch those meters and try and get in position so that you can jump and hit the ball or just hit the ball as that meter fills, because it's the only way you're going to keep track of the thing.
Yeah.
The pausing actually serves a purpose to the gameplay. Without it, you wouldn't. I mean, you would like hit it back and forth a couple times, and it'd be game over unless you got lucky a few times in a row.
So the dub drop actually helps you?
Yeah, that's sort of what it is. It's like the bass drops and the meter comes up, and if you hit it just at the right as the meter fills up, and you're in line with the ball, you speed it up even farther, and you tag it, and you can take out a bunch of people at once. The best part is the ludicrous amount of speed that the ball can gain. I think the cap is like 100,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's insane.
It really is, and each character has a special move that they can do. So you hit the ball, and then you press the hit button just as you're hitting the ball, and it will. I think there's a bunch of different characters. One of them actually holds on to it, and you can move it around and then launch it back out at the same speed. One of them it goes through the wall, so he'll hit it, and if it misses you the first time, it'll just come back around at the same angle. I forget what the other ones are, but there's some really interesting ones. And one of the other cool things is each character has its own little gameplay tweak. Like one of the characters can double jump. One of the other characters can stick to and climb the walls. Another one of them can actually, he's got a skateboard, so he can actually ride the wall and then go all the way up to the ceiling and ride upside down. So they all have their own little quirks. Another feature of the game is you can actually bunt the ball. The whole theme seems to be kind of baseball.
Yeah.
Like someone bunting and kickball. It's just the worst.
Well, what it does is it untags the ball so that anyone can hit.
Even anything, it's a D move.
Well, the purpose of it in this game is to sort of interrupt somebody's flow. So if you're going back and forth a bunch, you bunt it, and then you just hit it with a big charge move and try and get it going at a different angle.
Oh.
And like we've sort of slowly discovered that the key to the game is to sort of learn how to properly interrupt somebody that way. Like just quick bunt, hit it back.
Wow.
And just we played probably 2 hours of this Thursday night, just back and forth, like trying out the different characters and trying to unlock like different color palettes for all the characters. There's one character called Candyman, which is basically just this rail-thin dude with a giant smiley face on his head. Like he's just giant yellow head, and one of his skins is just inverted colors, and he looks like it looks horrifying. But this. It was like $14, and honestly, I bought it because I knew my friend Mike was going to get it, and we were going to like play it. Like I definitely knew there was somebody else I knew was going to play it. But if people are interested, feel free to pick it up. I will totally play this.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I'm hoping they because there's only 5 characters right now. I'm hoping they release more at some point into the game. It doesn't seem to be an early access game.
I don't think it is anymore.
Yeah, but like 5 characters seems a little low.
Yeah,
and they're all well balanced. They're all good. It's just I wish there was a bit more variety.
Yeah.
But man, and the cherry on top of all this is the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Oh, nice.
It's just really great electronic music. I can't say enough good things about this game if you have people to play it against.
Yeah.
Being the key. Like if you have, I'm sure the community is starting to build up now, but if you have a group of people that you can play this regularly against, it's a great time.
Yeah.
And the last game I played this week is I finished The Last of Us, not too long before we started recording this, and that's a really great game. I'm a big fan. I'm a really big fan of that story. I kind of can overlook some of the gameplay. I wouldn't even call them failings, just frustrations. Just that I want to know who at Naughty Dog made the decision to make like every other enemy something that can one-hit kill you.
Yeah.
And thought that was a good idea.
Hey guys, this is fun.
Just having having one way to deal with a threat just seems kind of the antithesis of this world. Like it seems like everyone in this world that they're in, it seems to be ready for a lot of different situations.
Yeah.
Just the one-hit kill thing, it just feels very. It was interesting when they did it in Resident Evil 4 a decade ago.
Yeah.
It was interesting then, and it was sort of like, whoa, oh man, I can't believe that. But when it's happening every couple of minutes, because I was playing it on easy too. Like, maybe I'm just terrible at this game. That's a distinct possibility.
Just throwing that out there. I could be the worst.
Oh yeah, no, you never discount that. Trust me. But I could have dealt with, like, okay, you have to sneak around this group of enemies, and it's going to be a little frustrating. If you get to a fray, you might be able to get away, but you're probably not.
Yeah.
If let's say I got, flanked by 2 clickers. If 2 of them are on me, cool, that's a one-hit kill. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if one of them's on me, I'm sorry, I should be able to get away from that.
Yeah.
I should be able to do something.
Not necessarily kill it, but maybe at least escape.
Yeah, get it off of me somehow. It's like there's just a lot of it that they don't, and even if they had explained it somehow, like, well, the fungus is just so much stronger than human muscle. It's like, oh, okay,
okay,
science
sure.
It for me.
Yeah.
Just hand wave it at the very least.
Sci-fi it up.
Yeah.
Like don't not acknowledge this.
Yeah.
Because everything else I can just sort of shove off of me. Except for there's another enemy, and I don't want to spoil the enemy because it's a really interesting reveal when they do it. There's another one-hit kill enemy that happens, and, like, you totally get it. Like, it's totally like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That makes sense. I wouldn't even mind lack of supplies. Like, I didn't even experience that portion of the difficulty because I was playing on easy. It was like every time I turned around, there was more stuff to make more things with.
Yeah.
Which really came in handy.
Did you make wind sticks?
I could not, which would have been fantastic.
Our wind sticks coming back up.
Oh no, because they're awesome.
Thought we had killed that in this show.
Yeah. My other question is, and it wouldn't have been an issue had it been consistent throughout the game, but really, Joel's been doing this for 20 years and he hasn't, like, found or forged just a nice quality knife?
Yeah, that's what I always found funny. He's like, I've been living on the streets for so long. It's like, yeah, but like...
You're still making shivs out of glass and rags and tape.
You have a beard, you know how to do something.
And then you get later in the game, and there's a section where you play as Ellie, and she's got like a switchblade that never breaks.
You wanna lend that to old Joel here?
You want to maybe give me a hand? Like, yeah, she saved me with a whole bunch, but hey, maybe like we can get Joel like something he can sharpen up.
Yeah.
Like
a sharp stick, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, and like there's certain melee weapons, like the 2x4. Yeah, that's gonna break eventually. Wooden baseball bat. Yeah, that's probably gonna break eventually.
Yeah.
Solid steel pipe.
It's gonna hold on to that for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I got like 7 or 8 swings out of it, but I'm pretty sure the tensile strength of steel is more than bone, guys.
Yeah.
And the other one was like the hatchet that was just like forged steel. I was like, oh, cool. I should have that for a while. It's like 5 or 6 hits. And they're one-hit kill hits, which is great for me.
Dimebag in chat asks, Hannah, are you like Boston and would rather watch the storyline than play The Last of Us?
Kinda, yeah. I think I'm sort of in that camp, but at the same time, when the gameplay's good, it's excellent.
Yeah.
When the gameplay's really good, when you're like when you're sneaking around like fighting the human enemies, when it's not a one-hit kill situation, when it's like, oh yeah, no, that's totally my fault.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's really tense. It's really well done. It does get a little frustrating because I'm bad at the game and I would die constantly and just rush into situations I shouldn't be rushing into. As far as like the story itself, I disagreed with the actions taken by the characters, but I understand them.
Sure.
One of those situations, like I wouldn't have done that, but I'm not in that situation. But so do I know for sure I wouldn't have done that?
Right.
Who knows? But I really, really enjoyed the story. It was, at times, it was predictable, but it was so well told I didn't really mind.
Yeah.
But just, I keep coming back to, I can't wait to see the movie version of this, because it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And it's going to take out a lot of the unnecessary long stretches of nothing in the story. Because if you had condensed certain sections down, like I probably could have finished this in a sitting. Which I understand why they would want to pad that a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's amazing characters. It's amazingly well voiced, amazingly well acted, amazingly well told. I play this game if only for the story, because it is a really excellent video game story, and it really shows what we can do. But it shows that we're just that one little step away from marrying gameplay and story.
Yeah.
We're
Do you think
so
that's
close.
something that could have been solved with playtesting and feedback, or?
I don't think so. I think it's straight from like the design docs, like from the base idea of the game. A couple of tweaks would have made it better, but I think you need to go either one direction or the other. You need to go full on desperation and sneaking, or just combat.
Yeah.
And it sort of does each only half as good as it could have been.
Interesting.
But it's a really good game. I don't regret the purchase at all. I probably will play it again because I was playing it yesterday and my wife was watching and was really interested in it, which is a really rare thing for this type of game. She's usually the type that'll play we'll play Bejeweled or Tetris or just small games, not anything big with a storyline or anything.
Yeah.
So it may even be great for that because it is so movie-like and it is so kind of compelling.
It's what Naughty Dog does really well. They make very cinematic. They tell very cinematic and very strong stories.
Very much so.
Yeah.
They honestly,
it still sounds so crazy to me. The guys that brought Crash Bandicoot are making very strong cinematic stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like they're taking that mantle from, as much as a lot of people would like to pretend that the Metal Gear games are cinematic, no, they are cinema.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Yeah.
They are cinema with gameplay.
The cinematique.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
actually a closer to a cinematic game experience, simply for the fact that the set pieces you're actually walking through and your characters under your control.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times in Metal Gear that's not the case. But like I said, I know I'm talking a lot of negative about this game, but I can't stress enough how much I actually did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I want it to be better than it is.
Yeah.
I really do, as far as gameplay goes. I really wanted to enjoy the gameplay more than I did. And just that story is so well put together and so well paced and just I really can't wait for the movie. That's all I have to say about that.
Anything else you played this week?
That's pretty much it. I think I played some Nautica Crash.
Probably.
Maybe, probably. It's just sort of like, oh yeah, let's open that up. Oh, I'm dead already. All right.
Yeah. I played a whole lot of Diablo 3.
Nice.
I finished my hardcore character. I just have to level her up to 70. I have like 4 trophies to get left.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of have a problem.
Something you want to talk about?
Is this an intervention? I what I've been doing primarily has been farming legendaries for the Up All Night to Get Lucky trophy. So I've been playing a lot of bounties and stuff. My fiance and I have been playing a little bit more of it, and I get the impression she's enjoying it, but I think each story beat is a little too long, because she really likes to poke around the entire environment and like look in every room and like bash everything in the in every area, which is good because you get so much gold and you get so much loot.
Yeah.
But I think for her, the last thing we did was we fought the Skeleton King, and I think the events leading up to it were a little bit lengthy, which is certainly a problem in the first act. But man, we've been playing on normal difficulty, which is incredibly easy. But what's really fun about it is it kind of turns Diablo 3 into a beat-em-up game. Like, you are never at risk of dying, almost ever, even if you're fighting like 2 mobs of elites. So you can just kind of get in there and just kind of beat the crap out of everything in the game without really worrying about any of it.
That's fantastic.
And it turns it into kind of an arcadey, fun game.
Turns it into Gauntlet.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's basically Gauntlet with loot, which maybe was what they were trying to go with Gauntlet Legends. But it was kind of funny where I'm typically playing on Torment 1 lately.
Okay.
And going back down to normal and starting another character on there, I was sort of like, what, this is pretty okay. Like Diablo 3 gives you as much fun and as much challenge as you're looking for, and the easiest difficulty is still really fun because it gives you something different. Like on Torment 1, every time I run into an elite pack, it's either going to go really well or I'm just going to be fighting for my life the entire time. But on normal, it's kind of fun. It's just, smashing your way through Diablo 3, and I kind of like that.
Nice.
I did download the patch for PC, patch 2.1, I think it was, which introduced a whole bunch of new stuff, which will be coming to the console versions eventually. But one thing that won't be is seasons. So they opened up Season 1 this past weekend. And I totally forgot that you had to start another character to start a new season. And that's pretty much what I've been doing on the PS4. So I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to do that on the PC.
Yeah.
But I think that's if you're still playing the PC version, I think that's kind of the new hotness now is get in there on Season 1, get those hot new legendaries, and get the new Rift stuff. But other than, playing probably far too much Diablo 3, I downloaded it's cross-buy Ollie Ollie for the PS4.
Yeah.
Just came out for PS3 and PS4, and I just really don't like this game. I respect it, and I understand what it's going for, and I really like the art style, and I really like what it's offering, because it's very much a 2D kind of classic Tony Hawk game. Like, if someone made like a standard 2D, and I'm not talking about like the GBA Tony Hawk 2 game, someone made like a 2D. Well, the GBA Tony Hawk 2 game is actually one of the best Tony Hawk 2s.
Really?
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
It's an isometric Tony Hawk. It's outstanding.
Huh.
But if someone took Tony Hawk 2 and kind of made it a little bit less crazy, a little bit more grounded, and made it 2D, this is pretty much Ollie Ollie. But struggling through trying to wrap your brain around the controls so far, for me, has been completely unfun. I feel like in the early going, the game is often a little too punishing about landing stuff properly and, tripping on rails and stuff. And I don't know if I'm just not in the mood for it at the moment or what, but it's just really not clicking with me at all. So I'm going to try to give it another shot, probably in another week or two.
Maybe let it sit.
Yeah, just kind of let me play some other stuff and then go back in a little bit more fresh. But in the meantime, I picked up for the PS4 the Golf Club. Which, first off, it's $35.
Yeah.
I want to put that out for everybody. That is a $35 downloadable game. So take that into account as I'm talking about this. The Golf Club is a really, really good golf game that needs a ton of love. Still.
Okay.
It was an early access Steam game that has come out for Xbox One and PS4. It controls incredibly. It's beautiful. It is a real golf game. Like, when you want a simulation golf game, you can look at the Golf Club and say, here, someone made an outstanding looking simulation golf game. Building your own courses is really great. It's actually a lot of fun. You can change a bunch of dials and knobs for however you want to make your golf course specifically. But so much of it needs so much love. Like, the menus are nearly
atrocious,
incomprehensible and slower than hell. I get what they were going for. That would have worked on a touchscreen. But to navigate a menu that is all pieces and parts, and you don't even know how to get to some of the stuff.
And the dials aren't very responsive either.
No, those are pretty bad.
Did I hit it? No, wait. Oh, there it goes all the way over. Like, oh, great.
The complete is horrific. I mean, it's not a hard game to get into if you know golf, or if you have played any golf game in probably the last 5 years. Because it is right stick back, right stick forward, you're done.
Yeah.
But the nuance of the game of making shots is so difficult.
Yeah, like if you push forward on the right stick and you're even a little bit off, your ball's gonna drift quite a bit. And I think for me, the thing that's the most so when you go into the game, there's a whole menu where it's just like there's a button that just says tee off, and it just loads a hole and you play it and you're done, and it's just one hole. And then there's another option that I think just says play, or it just says like a round. And that option, you can pick 9 holes, 18 holes. You can make your own course. You can load up your friends' courses and stuff like that. And then there's a series of recommended courses. And I popped in like the first recommended course, which had a huge icon and had like thousands of people had played it today. I was like, all right, well, that seems like a great first starting point for me to get into the game, is just play something that everybody else is playing. It has to be good if it has that many people playing it, and it has solid ratings, because every course in the game you can rate out of 5. So I was like, all right, I'll pick that up. And that thing was so tough. Like 3 holes in, I bombed out. I'm like, I just like quadruple putted this thing, and this does not look that difficult. So I go back out and I look at the full listing of recommended courses, and I find out that like the top 10 recommended courses, there's a difficulty rating on it, and the difficulty is hardest.
Yeah.
So I go in and I look for something that's easier, and the only 2 types of recommended courses are hardest and easiest.
Wow.
So I pick an easiest one, and I do okay. Like, I'm not sinking hole-in-ones or anything, but if it's a par 4, I'm either doing 4 or 5, which for me, starting out in a new golf game, I'm doing pretty okay. You know, as long as I'm not doing like 10s and 11s, they're not mercy ruling me. Then I feel like I'm doing okay. And the part about it is, you can't put out a downloadable game that costs this much, that is so frustrating and gives you such a small amount of feedback for a game that's legitimately really good. You have to. You can't. All right, so I'm gonna project here a little bit, and the game very much feels like someone who loves the game of golf, and has been upset that these kids games like Tiger Woods are so popular now, and they're gonna make a real golf game. And if you don't know golf, just don't buy it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that communicates that. You know, like, there's nothing that communicates that this is a hardcore simulation golf game.
Yeah.
What they're promoting and what they're pushing so often is this is a real golf game where you can make your courses and play your friends' courses. Yay, social. And none of that matches up. And I think if they can resolve those problems, if they can put a tutorial in there, if they can make your ramp into the game much more shallow, I think they could have a really great game. But throwing you to the wolves, it cannot work in a game like that.
It needs some noob polish. Like, it like what you said, it throws you to the wolves, assuming you know how this game controls that you've never played before.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't even tell you if it's 3-click or right stick back and forward.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
it's
like you did what I did.
control.
You just hop into it and figure, like, how hard could it be?
Yeah.
And then finding out, holy crap, this is really hard.
Yeah, this is like a for real game. Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really convey to you as the player on your actual power on your swings. Like, it expects you to judge a backswing, which on putting is paramount.
Putting is a disaster in this game. Like, there's almost no feedback on what your power is, how far the cup is away from you. Mm-hmm. Every time I'm putting, it just says 101 feet. To what? Am I above sea level? Like, what's happening here? So, like, I would pull back. So, my favorite golf games are the Tiger Woods games. So
do you get my joke last week about the hip high swing?
Yeah, because like when you pull back a pretty good amount, and you feel like, all right, this thing is gonna cook, and it goes 15 feet, which is like a tenth of the way to the hole, and I'm like,
it's not even close.
Okay, so I pull back even a little bit more, 25 feet. I'm just like, what is happening? So I pull back hip height basically, and it goes about 300. And I'm like,
it goes right off the green. You're like,
I'm just like,
I don't know where the difference. Where's my threshold? Where's my happy medium?
Where is, like, I'm not even at this point asking the game to give me a power meter. But what I would like is if it could give me some sort of feedback about, all right, you just hit the ball a pretty significant amount, and it went 13 feet. That was about 30%. You know, like, at least afterwards tell me, all right, you like let me gain the appreciation for feeling. If I can't have the club physically in my hands and I'm not
Yeah.
physically hitting the ball, you need to provide me with some sort of feedback. Because at
Yeah.
this point, there's none. And it's just like, I don't know, you just suck, dude. Try again, loser.
Well, then it becomes soul crushing. Like it's
Yeah.
you because I mean me playing that, like I feel like I'm a pretty confident golfer in video games,
Yeah.
and I understand 3-click. I understand the Tiger Woods, the right stick swing, no problem. I got that down.
Yeah.
It's not a question of that. But what I do not have any feedback on how far I'm aiming the shot, or even the actual power. Like I understand the power of the swing, but putting is just such a finesse part of the game.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what you're doing, it's a disaster. You're Happy Gilmoreing every hole.
Yeah, I actually like the non-putting stuff.
Yes.
Because you have on the PS4 you hit the triangle button and it zooms down the course and will show you
I
here,
figured that out.
yeah, it's weird. Another thing that they're not super great at telling you, but they show you the general area. They don't show you like a ring where it's gonna land, but they show you like, hey, this is the part of the course where your ball is gonna land if you kind of hit it dead on. And I actually got stuck under. I have to give the game a lot of credit because I got stuck under a tree at one point, and I knew I just needed to chip it right, like directly straight. I didn't need any loft on it. I just needed to get it out from under the trees, and I hit, I think, square or circle, and then I just pulled down on this menu where just you basically pull the loft down, and just I am just chipping straight out, and it did exactly what I wanted it to. It just got straight out of there like a bullet, and I wasn't, sometimes in Tiger Woods, when you get under a tree, the game really wants you to just loft it. It's like, no, that's gonna go in the tree. I'm trying to go under the tree.
That's what the punch shot's for.
Yeah, and I felt like for once in this game, I was able to do exactly the thing that I really wanted to do, which was just punch it straight out from under the tree and just get on the fairway. And I was able to do exactly that.
I do have to agree with you. It allows you to take your medicine. Because you're going to give up a stroke whether you try to go for it or not. Just punch it out in the fairway.
Just get in the clear.
Take a sip of Tussin and get it over with.
Yep. And then, for everything that goes really well like that, for everything, I love driving off of the tee and I love punching out from under trees. And when you get in a sand trap, you're really in trouble because you let yourself get in there. You're going to have to work to get it out of there. All of that is good, and all of that is rewarding when you just nail it straight down the fairway, and you take that shot where you're just like, oh, yeah, I really got that one. And then you start putting, and it just all falls apart because you don't get anything back. All you get is the feeling that the game is just flipping you off because you don't know how to finesse this game. And I don't have any feedback, so I can't. And apparently that's my fault. So if they can fix that, if they can give a tutorial, if they can ease you into the game, and if they can fix... The putting is fine, the putting feedback is not. If they can fix the putting feedback, I think this would be a game that I could wholeheartedly say, alright, you have your Power Star Golf and Hot Shots Golf on the arcade spectrum. You have Tiger Woods in the middle. And if you feel like you want to outgrow Tiger Woods, you want to get back to something like Lynx, you want to get back to something that you would have played on the PC in the early 90s, this really serious simulation golf game, I would love to recommend the Golf Club.
Yeah.
But it's not there yet. And I would love to see it, because the social stuff is great, where you're competing against your friends, you can do asynchronous stuff, you can play your friends' courses. That's awesome. Just the actual golf game of it just needs a little bit more love.
That's Jay-Z had a great line on it. He said a game needs to tell you you're screwing up or how you're screwing up. That's not hand-holding.
Totally. If I'm screwing up, that's fine. I'm not good enough at the game yet.
Yeah.
But but you need to tell me how I can get better.
Why? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And that's and you know, and golf's fickle like that because sometimes you don't understand why things went poorly.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, this is a game that, I mean, it does your lie and your whether you where your stance is all affect how your shot's going to go, which it does in real golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
if-
not
if
like
you're on
Tiger
a- if
Woods
you're on
where
a-
you just swing all the way down the fairway and you sink it in. It doesn't really matter. You know, like you have to
Right.
think about every shot.
Right, like a lot of people don't understand. It's like when you're because it's a counterintuitive shot. Is if you're on a hill lie where the ball's above your feet and the hill is pointing to the left, you have to aim right into the hill
Yep.
to get the ball to go straight.
Yep.
Because it's going to carry the lie you're on.
Yeah, you have to. It does take those physics into account of like treat it like you're actually golfing.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you don't have that actual physical connection during putting with your putter and the ball, you need something. And I think Jay-Z is completely right. That's not hand-holding. That's just saying, hey, I'm not asking for Tiger Woods where you push a button and shows you the exact line the ball will take into the cup. I'm not really asking for that. I'm just asking for a little bit more. Yeah.
Yep.
So I hope they fix it, because if so, I would absolutely recommend it. But at the moment, if you really love golf games and you really love the game of golf, you should pick it up. And it's available on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. But otherwise, it needs a little bit more love before I can recommend it.
I wonder if it's something, if you put enough time into it, you'll have that eureka moment. It's like, all right, I get it now.
Maybe, but I feel like it punishes me so much immediately right out of the gate that I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
You know, like I just
I just felt like I was kicked in the teeth.
yeah, like I just
the
feel
whole
like I
time.
got beaten up and my $35 were taken from me, and they're like, well, great, come back next time if you don't suck anymore. It's like, well, oh, okay, sure. Can I get the DLC that has like a foul-mouthed trainer to help me with my game? You know, like I don't. What do I need to do?
Yeah, at this point, I would take Flair to yelling at me.
Yeah, sure. At this point, that's saying something. But that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break.
Cool.
Sweet.
Jay-Z is actually right. If I wanted to put 55 hours into a golf game, I would go learn golf.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, yeah. Like, I hate to be that guy who's like, oh, well, if you learn to play Guitar Hero, maybe you should just, do you know how to play real guitar? You know, like the chasm between, you know, Guitar Hero and actual guitar playing is so huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like the chasm between the golf game and the game of golf could be pretty thin.
Yeah. Well, like, I as someone who plays guitar and played a ton of Guitar Hero, yeah, totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually picked
Completely
up that Rock Band 3, that like real guitar that plugs in a Rock Band 3 that you can learn how to play guitar. And that was like way tough out of the gate.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I know how to play Rock Band really well. I cannot play a guitar. Yeah, Donbag, I had a power issue here at the house, so we didn't really miss much when we came back, but I'll fix it in post.
Yep, we will always fix it in post.
The other GZ says it's actually backwards though. Guitar Hero lets you have fun right away. If instead of Guitar Hero we only had Rocksmith, I would go learn guitar instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocksmith was actually really good. I have a couple of friends that picked that up and really enjoyed it.
I've actually been thinking about picking that up. Like, you can get a guitar for pretty cheap. Like a pretty shitty electric guitar for not that much money.
Yeah.
And Rocksmith works on PC now.
Yep.
And you can just get that off of Steam. But yeah, I don't know if I have the time to do that.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I play guitar supposedly, but I pick it up maybe once or twice a month at this point.
Yeah.
Just like, who has the time?
Yeah. I got Diablo 3 to play, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm more invested in this because I'm in video games because I do this every week. You know, when I was playing shows every month, I was in a band. Yeah, of course I was going to pick up my guitar more often.
Yeah.
But even then, it was sort of like, but I got games to play.
It's so funny too, though, because when I look at Rocksmith and they keep announcing DLC, it's like when Rock Band was, like Rock Band 1 and Rock Band 2, in the beginning of Rock Band 3, where like every week they'd come out with something where it's like, holy shit, those are songs I really like. And with Rocksmith, it's like, I could learn how to play those. I could learn how to play like You've Seen the Butcher by Deftones, which is one of my favorite songs by them. It's like, that sounds really appealing. But then, like, what am I going to do with it afterwards? I'm going to be like, hey, Meg, come in here. I learned how to play this song. Okay. Never mind.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. I'm going to go back to doing anything else.
Yeah.
Look how good I am. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. Do the dishes.
Or you do the one thing where you start playing. Wait.
No, wait.
I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I messed up. One of those guitar dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be that guitar dude.
No. All right. I'm ready. Are you, gents, ready to go?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me just get
Let's
show notes
knock
up here.
this out, because I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this episode.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
One morning.
Good to go.
Well, loading. Enhance.
Enhance.
Just print the damn thing. Okay, no cream.
Come on, bite it. Make him look like a dick.
Brian Cox is the best in those movies, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He's such a great actor.
I'm very curious to see what Super Troopers 2 is going to be like.
Yeah.
Because I think they're finally done writing it.
Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah.
Brian Cox was a voice. He did voiceover in Syndicate, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and the dude from the guy who played Top Dollar in The Crow.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Man, that guy's voice.
That guy's voice is like, just I hear it and I go, I know you.
Yeah.
Is that the guy from the Cree light bulb commercials? Yeah, with that really crisp voice.
I don't think I've seen those commercials.
He's from oh my god.
It sounds like he has gravel in his throat.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the guy from Fringe, the boss guy.
Oh no. The guy that's all right. So that dude's voice. I know what you're talking about. The tall, skinny black guy.
Yeah, who's very crisp. His voice is very crisp.
He sounds exactly like the dude that did Unsolved Mysteries. Like, his voice is identical to that old white dude.
That's crazy.
Nice.
That dude is in Destiny, and he pops up in like the alpha and the beta, giving you a random mission, and it's like you must go over to this point and investigate. And I'm just like, oh my god, get out of my ears.
Did they find their lost lover? Or did they not? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, his voice is so great for that. If they did Unsolved Mysteries and he rebooted it and he is not the dude,
yeah, he'd be your
that's
dude.
a crime.
Yeah.
That's a crime.
Oh, man.
But that dude's awesome on The Wire, too.
Oh, I still need to watch The Wire.
Very nice.
All right, let's do this next segment before we start talking about unsolved mysteries for the next 5 hours.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Oh, it could be worse. It could be Rescue 911.
Oh, God.
That's number wing.
One.
That's number wing.
That's number one. Oh my god, I gotta watch that show again.
So
is
good.
that still on? Is that still on Netflix?
Probably.
Because they pulled it down there for a while, and then we just got stuck with the Snuff Box and Peep Show.
I Let me look.
The snuff box is
What was
bizarre.
that show's name even?
That Mitchell and Webb look.
Oh yeah, Mitchell and Webb. Peep Show.
Oh, they have-
Parks and Rec. No, it doesn't look like it's streaming anymore. That's a bummer.
You know what's great is you ever seen the Come Fly With Us? It's
Not
the same
yet.
two dudes. It is fantastic.
Nice.
The guy charging for the life preservers. Like, so if you're ready to crash, you pull out the tablet, you swipe the card, you put your pin in, and if you want air to inflate the preserver, you swipe the card, put your pin in again, and for $59.95, you get a life-saving device.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
All right,
All right, let's do
guys,
this.
ready?
Yep.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week for September 1st. It's September.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Right.
2014. First up is Joe Danger for the PlayStation Vita.
I'm curious to I might try that out. I like the first Joe Danger. I don't like the second one as much. I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty good fit for the Vita. That's a good level-based game.
Yeah, that's
Watch
PS
yourself.
Plus this month too.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong. Hold on. Let me confirm that
Danger.
before I start making.
May confer with the internet here.
Yeah. Hold on. Loading.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Enhance. I have the perfect keyboard for that too. Enhance.
Well, let's move on while
Yeah.
We're looking
I'll-
at
Alrighty.
keep going.
Oh, Boston. Did you put this one in there on purpose?
Danganronpa.
Danganronpa. I was going to say that. Goodbye Desire for the PlayStation Vita.
I really need to finish the first of those games before I
Danganronpa.
pick up the second one. It's so good.
All right. That's for the PlayStation Vita. Dance Central Spotlight for the XBO.
So this is I think $15 or $20, and it comes with a handful of songs, and they're just gonna start pumping out a bunch of DLC songs
Nice.
for this. So Dance Central's really good.
Central's a platform now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It
Just
is.
like Rock
It is
Band 3.
fantastic.
Yeah, Dance Central's really good. I think $15 or $20 for Dance Central is a really, really good price. I hope that does well for them, because I feel like that's one of those games that someone's like, oh, $15, I got a bunch of people over, we could just play some Dance Central. Sure.
Yeah, put Dance Central and let it set it off.
Yeah. Put it on repeat.
Set
Joe
it off.
Danger confirmed.
Drop the bass.
What was that, Hannah?
Okay.
Joe Danger confirmed for PlayStation Plus for the Vita.
Sold
Cool.
for free.
Alrighty. Don't Starve Giant Edition for the PlayStation Vita.
You should go play that. I'm
Yeah?
curious how that is on Vita, but that Don't Starve is a great game.
I will play a bunch of that on Vita because I really like the little bit of time I spent with it on PS4.
Yeah. I don't know if that's
Alright.
cross-buy. I get the impression it's not.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it might have been, but I think that is that.
We'll look that up too.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that was cross-buy. I could have been misinformed.
That'd be nice.
We'll throw that back to
Yeah.
the newsroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead Rising 3 Apocalypse Edition for the PC. That's another fantastic game.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories. We have a ton of them this week.
Nice.
We got two really big and really weird news stories here at the beginning. First one, Amazon buys Twitch. All right, wait, what?
yeah.
So,
we saw them
Google?
coming.
yeah,
Sort of.
So the Google deal fell through, sounds like very suddenly, and right after that, Jeff
Danger?
Bezos was there to just put out the safety net and say, "Nah, we got you for $970 million."
Wow.
Wow.
So I know a lot of people are excited about Amazon buying Twitch because it's not Google. I would not hold your breath.
Don't. It's really not worth it.
After Comixology, I'm not exactly trusting them. Actually, Comixology and Audible. I'm not exactly trusting them to not put their fingers in a lot of things they shouldn't.
Well, and look at what they just the comicsology is like the big thing for me, but look what they're doing on the Android platform as a whole.
Yeah.
Just look up some of the, like, you can't get certain apps on an Amazon, like the Amazon Fire Phone, because they don't want you to have the Google Play Store. They want you to have the Amazon App Store.
Yeah.
And like it's that kind of splintering of the Android user base that is really sucking the life out of Android right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And real crappy
Madness.
business practices.
Yeah, well, and the thing about that is like you can just get the APK file for the Play
Yeah.
Store and just sideload it.
Yeah.
Like they can't stop you.
Yeah, it's just
But they're making it harder.
you're just making it 5 minutes more difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I need my minutes.
I guess we'll see. But speaking of splintering your user base, a new 3DS and 3DS XL was announced, called the 3DS and the 3DS XL. There's a huge laundry list of things that are new about this, so let's break it down. Has another analog stick. A super teeny tiny one. They're calling it the C-Stick again, because that went well last time. And it's right above the ABXY buttons.
Yeah, that won't.
Which
That'll work.
Which are now Super Famicom styled. So they have the Super Famicom colors for the buttons. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
2 new shoulder buttons, keeping their horrific naming conventions of now you have L and R and ZL and ZR. Guys, just call it L1 and L2 and R1 and R2. You can pay someone. It's okay.
Yeah. Just stop.
They moved the power button to the bottom of the console. That did not work well for the DS, so shouldn't do that. They removed the wireless switch, so you can turn wireless on and off in the OS now. Which, that's fine.
That'll go well.
Yeah, no big deal.
Hopefully.
They changed from SD cards to micro SD cards. Sure.
Whatever. I guess. Whatever.
You can snap the case off to put other shells on your case. So, that's kind of cool.
I like that because it prevents people from slapping stickers on it.
Well, it also stops the thing. I would feel okay. Let's say they had done this back when Zelda: A Link Between Worlds came out, and they came out with that super bomb-looking 3DS.
Yep.
I can't afford to buy another 3DS. I have 2 of them. That's one more than you should have. I'm more than willing to spend, like, let's say $30 for a new cool-looking shell. I'm more than happy to do that, or, like, it comes bundled with the game in, like, a limited edition or something. I'm happy to do that. I can't drop $180, $200 on another console.
Absolutely.
So, for me, that's cool. I'll snap that thing off, and I'll put some cool ones on. I'm good.
It does remind me of the original 360 faceplates, though. Like, it seems like a really great idea now.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, oh, that's so dumb in like a year.
Yeah.
I did have, my favorite was, I had the Yoda one from when Soul Calibur 4 came out, though.
Nice.
That was my favorite.
It's originally they were going to say the OS skins itself to the game you have in the system.
Okay.
There's been a ton of misinformation about actually both of these new consoles in general. Apparently you can buy themes for just a little bit of money for each game, and then they reskin the whole OS, and they do sounds and graphical effects and stuff like that.
I feel really bad for the junior art intern that got stuck with that job for that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, skin the entire OS. Have fun.
Yeah, good luck. Here's your
You're not
checklist. It's 20 pages.
You're not getting paid for this.
Yeah. It's about the same price, same size, same accessories. So they did really nicely there. They're going to come out with new docks, which are really cool because you vertically put the 3DS into this dock. So that's pretty cool. The battery life is doubled on both of them. Like,
nice.
flat out,
ridiculous.
on the 3DS, it is now 7.5 hours. On the XL, it's 6 hours. So, great.
That's
double.
Yeah, that's doubled. Yeah, you guys thought the Vita was bad? That's bad. And the reason why they were able to get more power out of it is not necessarily bigger batteries, which I'm sure they also did, but the screen, if you turn it on, can automatically adjust brightness.
Oh, good.
Which is kind of nice. They've done a really bad job of explaining that because they have all these like cross-cut images of like, here's Super Mario Brothers 3DS running on the old one and the new one, and the new one is way darker than the old one. So everyone's like, that doesn't look good. They do have NFC support for amiibos.
That's cool.
Which is probably the only reason they're putting out this one, because they're hoping amiibo will be huge. And the not surprising but super bad part about this is each one of these has more RAM and a way better CPU. So they are pulling a DSi again. People are like, this is unacceptable. Nintendo's never done... No, they did that with the DSi.
Yeah,
don't forget, that happened like 3 years ago. So,
but I don't remember a game coming out that didn't work on the older models.
There were about 6 for the DSi.
Okay.
So that's the unfortunate part, is like we can't even be like, well, it'll be fine. We'll just run... Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it was they announced Xenoblade Chronicles is coming to 3DS, which is great because that's one of the Wii's best games. Except it only works on the new 3DS.
Way to abandon your entire install base.
Yeah. And
Like,
I don't think Xenoblade Chronicles is a big enough game to push those consoles.
No, it's not.
And they can't
I
do it with
guarantee it's
Pokemon,
not.
which would push consoles.
Yeah.
So maybe you should have just announced it was the 3DS 2.
Yeah.
The 4DS. Now it travels through time.
No, it's the 2DS 3.
Yes.
Right?
No, the 2DS 2.
Wow.
No, the
this isn't confusing at
2DSu.
all.
I'm sorry. We have to marry our branding. The 2DSu, the 3DSu, 3DS XLU. Amiibo.
Oh my god.
So good job, Nintendo. I don't know what you're doing anymore. You have completely confounded me. And hey, Smash Brothers will hopefully do really well. Good job.
They better pray. And if they come out and say Smash Brothers is only for this new 3DS, I think they're gonna start a riot.
They're not. They're in no way are they that dumb.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm being optimistic.
I'll take that.
Yeah. All right. Next news story: Harmonix announces a new game called A City Sleeps, coming to Steam in October. It's a music-based 2D shoot 'em up.
Yes, I like all of those words.
It looks really cool.
It looks cool. It does look really cool.
There's a really cool art style there. It's one of those games where it's sort of like... Harmonix seems like it's in a little bit of a hard spot right now.
Yeah.
And the success of Kickstarter for Amplitude seems to have helped them a little bit. But I'm hoping that these little games do really well for them, kind of like how Double Fine got very successful. They just kept putting out these cool, tiny little games, and people were willing to spend $10 or $15 on them. And when this comes out on Steam, I'll buy it, because it will probably be $10 or $15, and it's probably going to be really good. So, good for them. Small news story, Bayonetta 2 coming out October 24th.
Hooray!
So don't forget it includes Bayonetta 1 as well. So
that's awesome.
Go buy that. Bayonetta 1 is really good. Bayonetta 2 looks even dumber. I am so excited. In surprising crazy news, not one but 2 Saints Row games announced. So first off, Saints Row 4 is coming to Xbox One and PS4 January 27th. Includes all DLC, including the one we're going to talk about here in a second. So,
and I will totally buy it because I haven't played it yet.
I will totally buy it again because I really like that game and I really like what that team is doing. And I played it on PC originally, and if they can get that performance from the PC on a PS4 and Xbox One, that will be a really great version to play.
Yeah.
They actually, also coming out on that same day, they're putting out an expansion for Saints Row 4 called Saints Row Gat Out of Hell.
Yes.
You play as Johnny Gat and you fight Satan. That's nice. That's really all you need to know about the game.
I bought it on I think the $20 just flew out of my pocket. I think I already bought it.
Yeah, that sounds so dumb and so amazing that I know I'm gonna enjoy it, so I don't want to read more about it. On January I'll just pick up the version on PS4 and just play everything.
Yes, absolutely.
So part of me is a little bit disappointed that they're continuing to work on Saints Row 4 and not working on something else. But the other part of me says, you just keep coming out with dumber stuff, so keep working on Saints Row 4, man.
Yeah.
Saints Row 4 is a platform. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm like totally okay with that. Like I came to that conclusion when they announced BioShock Infinite. I was like, BioShock is a platform? Cool.
Yeah. Literally, right, guys? Hey-o. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Moving on.
Why?
I'm firing myself. Super Meat Boy Forever announced. Not a port of Super Meat Boy, and also, unlike what it looked like originally, not an endless runner.
I like that I have to clarify that.
Well, if you watch the trailer, looks like an endless runner.
Yeah.
But they built it with touch controls in mind because they wanted to come out with this kind of serious hardcore platforming game and make it work on tablets and PC.
Okay.
And it
I'll
is
believe it when I see it.
It is a forced runner, but they're saying like there's plenty of levels, there's a full story, there's 6 bosses, there's plenty of worlds. It's basically a forced runner Super Meat Boy.
Okay, I see. That's always my big problem with games like that. They're like, "Oh, we're focused on touch controls." I'm like, "Okay, when you say focused on touch controls, do you mean like you actually integrated touch controls, or you slapped a virtual D-pad and a couple of virtual buttons on the overlay?"
Right. It's to me, it sounds like the comparison between BioShock that just came out for iPad, which is very much that, and when Mirror's Edge came out for iPad, where they just made a whole different version and made one that suited the device.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're... And what's interesting is it's not even a port of the first Super Meat Boy. It's a brand new Super Meat Boy game that they're just making into this slightly different type of game.
Nice.
And people are asking them, like, hey, is it going to come to consoles? And they're pretty much saying, like, yeah, but later, without coming out and saying that. Where they're like, oh, we're focusing on these 2 platforms for now. Wink. So... Fingers crossed. I'd like to play it on PS4. Thank you.
Vita, thank you.
Yeah.
Makes way more sense on Vita.
Speaking of PS4, one of the best XBLA games for the 360, Dust and Elysian Tale, is coming out for PS4, quote-unquote, very soon. And the best part about it is it's the same game, just in 1080p and 60 frames a second. It sounds like they are just leaving that game completely intact.
Awesome.
If you like Metroidvania games, if you like action games, you have to pick this game up. It is outstanding. And it has a pretty okay story, too. Oh, man, that game. Super good. GOG, the once good old games, now we really fully understand why they changed their name to just GOG. They added movies.
Yeah, they did.
And fully free on, DRM free. When you buy it, you download an MP4 file or stream it from the GOG store.
God, I love these guys.
Right now, it's primarily gaming-focused movies, a lot of which are really great.
Yeah.
But they say they're working with studios now to get more movies and kind of more mainstream movies, which
fantastic.
Great. Even if you don't have nearly the selection of anywhere else, you have DRM-free movies, and that's okay by me. And
it's just an MP4, and that'll play on almost anything.
Well, you know, for me, as someone who really loves XBMC, if I can purchase a movie from GOG legally without any DRM and feed it onto my Mac Mini that runs XBMC, that's great.
Yeah.
That's where I want to watch my movies. I don't want to buy a Blu-ray. I don't want to buy a DVD. It's like the exact opposite of my preference for games. I do not want any movie physical media in my house.
Yeah.
I want all of that on this tiny hard drive that's connected to this tiny machine running XBMC.
Yep.
And then I can hit the random button and let it play.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's so fun.
I'm the complete opposite of that, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so good for GOG. It's kind of nice to see them doing a lot of this stuff. Maybe they'll get into books next. Who knows? That'd be okay, too.
That would be awesome if they did that with books and audiobooks. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. GOG for life. Yay.
Yeah, get the audiobooks away from Audacity. They're just way too expensive.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Don't even get me started.
And the last news story we have this week is a really weird one. Miyamoto, apparently just someone let him off of his leash and he just started flapping his gums.
Sweet. I love when that happens.
So, Two quotes that are really interesting. I think this is coming from Forbes. Quote, he's talking primarily about colloquially casual gamers.
Yeah.
He says, quote, these are the sort of people who, for example, might want to watch a movie. They might want to go to Disneyland. Their attitude is, okay, I'm the customer. You're supposed to entertain me. It's kind of a passive attitude they're taking, and to me it's kind of a pathetic thing. They do not know how interesting it is if you move one step further and try and challenge yourself with more advanced games. End quote. So,
Ooh.
okay. Gloves came off on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miyamoto's kind of upset that he's had to dumb a bunch of games down for, as he's calling, a bunch of dummies.
Yeah, and I could get that because like his games are not that hard to pick up.
Yeah. Toxic
Like,
Joker in chat says, or maybe it was translated wrong? I mean, possibly, but that seems like fairly stern. That seems like the thing you don't. It's not just a word where they mistranslated hardcore gamers and casual gamers. You know, like that seems like a fairly stringent comment from a guy who made Pikmin. You know, he seems like a fairly genteel sort of gentleman.
Yeah. I don't know. I just. It could be a tone thing, like the tone may have been, I don't know, mistranslated or misinterpreted.
Lighter, maybe.
He may have been in more of a joking mood when he said it, and just more off the cuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. His second quote is, quote, in the days of DS and Wii, Nintendo tried its best to expand the gaming population. Fortunately, because of the spread of smart devices, people take games for granted now. It's a good thing for us because we don't have to worry about making games something that are relevant to general people's daily lives. End quote. That's really interesting. That's actually, of anything of these comments he's making, I think that's a really interesting perspective where he's saying, look, because of smartphones and because of tablets, games are just a thing you do every day. Like, look at Candy Crush. That's a thing you do every time it pops up and says, "Hey, you're ready to crush candy." I don't even know what you're doing. But you know, it's this thing that's just kind of part of your day. It's not me going and finding time to sit down for an hour with Diablo 3. Yeah. You know, it's just this different attitude towards a different type of game. And I think it's really interesting that Miyamoto's saying, like, look, we tried to appeal to everybody, and it's not working because our sales are garbaggio. So let's maybe do the thing that we did before, where we make really good hardware and make really good games, and we hope that people do well on the platform. Maybe? That sounds okay.
Hit the reset button. It's the one on the left.
Yeah, hit the NES reset button. Hey guys, we're back. All right. We're gonna hit cartridges again.
Oh, that would be. I'd be so okay with
games
that.
Games are $200 now.
They just embrace like the hipster element of it. It's like, hey, guess what? Our games come on cartridges.
No, you know what would be great? Fully embrace this hipster culture, and you kickstart the NES 2.
Yep.
Yes.
The industry's biggest Kickstarter, the NES 2. Microsoft says it's delayed for 2 years. And then Wired's vaporware for next year is like, now we got, Duke Nukem Forever. Where's the NES 2? Amazing.
Oh man.
Great. All right, well, let's move.
Back the dolphin.
Yeah. Let's move on from emails over to tweets. Adderblack writes in and says, "Hi guys, what's your favorite game update? A patch that has really made a strong improvement to a game." I know this one, knee-jerk, Diablo 3 2.0.
Yeah?
They took a game that was universally reviled and universally hated, and they turned it into a game that is a must-play for certain platforms, nevertheless certain gamers. And that had a little bit to do with them taking away the auction house, but they revamped and rewrote an entire game. And they listened to their fans, and they put out a game that people really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for them.
It's a good one.
It's kind of a hard question, though.
Yeah, I would say probably, if you dig back, there's probably a Counterstrike update somewhere that changed everything. But the move from 1.5 from to 1.6 was probably the biggest.
Yeah.
That was a huge, huge shift, and that was really, I mean, a lot of people credit Call of Duty and all these games for like, oh yeah, these are the modern shooters. You know, this is where it all started. It's like, no, go back and
Yeah, Counterstrike is everybody's grandpa.
Counterstrike is the granddaddy of the realistic shooter.
Yeah.
The modern military shooter, so to speak. It's everything. I think that's probably why I find no interest in any of the Call of Duty games, because I'm like, I burned myself out on that style of game years ago.
I feel like Rainbow Six was a lot more influential to the modern shooter than it was Counter-Strike.
I don't know. I feel like when you look at the
Multiplayer,
modern, the modern online
strictly
shooter,
multiplayer.
yeah,
I will totally give Rainbow Six single player and definitely a hand in the multiplayer, but the sheer volume of people that started at Counter-Strike
yeah,
far outpaces the people that played Rainbow Six.
I think far more important is the Team Fortress 2 hats update.
Yes, absolutely. The hats
It
really
really
made
started
it
the hat
different.
genre.
Yeah. Actually, it did start one of my favorite jokes on the internet. Is just like, oh, do I get a hat with that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Knobs,
though.
can you think of anything, any of your favorite game updates?
Oh, man. It's been so long since I've played anything on PC, and my memory's so foggy of that.
How about the very first patch for the first Sin game? The one you had to get on this CD that came from PC Gamer because it was too big for your internet connection?
Right. It was too big for the internet game, and I still never received it. I sent away, I filled out the little form to, what was that company? Oh, I can't remember it now, but I never received it. And I still, I eventually finished playing that broken game.
Yeah. Boy, that game.
But or calling up for the unlock code for Quake 1. You had the 800 number you had to call.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Wow.
That's fantastic.
All right, next tweet here from Toxic Joker. He says, "Hey guys, I was looking at my Dreamcast, remembering the good old days. What do you guys believe led to the demise of the Dreamcast?"
Oh, it's Electronic Arts. You left it twist on a win.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's
No Madden failed that system.
I feel like that's probably the majority of the reason. I feel like probably in a couple years we'll get a really good book detailing the demise of the Dreamcast specifically.
Oh God, I'd love to see that.
I think when you looked at the competition between the Dreamcast and the PS2, clearly EA was on one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think the PS2 and Sony started stacking so many chips, it just got higher than the Dreamcast could knock down. Because I think when you started looking at it, the Dreamcast, every single game in its history is solid. But when you look at the PS2, it had every EA game. It had GTA 3. It had Vice City. It played DVDs. You know, you started... It's like death by 1,000 cuts for the Dreamcast after the big wound from EA.
Yes.
Well,
and honestly, I think the Dreamcast's demise started before it was even out. Just the release date killed it.
99.99?
No. What I'm saying is it fell in that really weird area between generations.
Yeah.
They were trying to jump the competition, and Sega was notorious for that.
Yeah.
Trying to get their system out ahead of everything, and that's what happened. Look at the Wii U. Nintendo's following that same path.
Yeah.
But I do think the hardware aspect of it, the DVD not having a DVD-ROM in it was huge.
Yeah,
a huge black mark.
I've seen so many people online lately because let me lay this out very clearly for everyone listening. If you're not around for the PS2 generation, the PS2 won because it played your movies on DVD.
Yes.
Period. And everyone lately is like, that's not why it won. Oh, it couldn't have won because it played DVDs. Nothing else you had in your home played DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted a DVD player, it was probably twice the cost of a PS2.
Yeah.
So why not pick up a PS2? And it comes with a couple movies, and now you can play Madden and GTA 3, which everybody's talking about, and Vice City's right around the corner, and then it plays all your PS1 games, and your PS1 memory cards stick in there, and I got some of those games laying around. Like,
Yep.
it was the killing blow for that entire generation. It was so
Yeah.
important that Microsoft put out a controller that came with a software update to allow the original Xbox to play DVDs.
Yes.
Like,
oh,
it was-
God, I remember that.
It was such a driving factor in the market, and like I think people want to think of the PS3 with Blu-rays, where that did not push the PS3
Not at all.
because the library was so much stronger on the 360. So at that
Yeah.
Well,
point, oh, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, it was the other weird thing with that whole DVD thing is, and I understand why Sega didn't do it, because Laserdisc was a complete flop,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
everyone was still on the fence whether the DVDs would eventually replace VHS tapes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It was a perfect storm stacked against them.
yeah.
Well, and
And,
Sony had the advantage of sort of reading the writing on the wall as far as it came to games and going, well, I mean, it's not just going to be useful for videos. It's going to be useful for, actually allowing us
data
to make
and
larger
movies.
games.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's really interesting. It was very much an indication of Sega's mentality at the point where they're like, well, we can't fit all this stuff on a CD. I don't know about these DVDs. Knobs is right. Like, Laserdisc just fell on its face very quickly.
Well, who has the storage space for that, really?
They were way too big. That's its primary
Hey,
problem.
I still got 45s on my shelf. So.
Yeah.
And that's fun. There's a
Um,
reason to have those.
And then Sega goes, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make our own version.
Yep.
We're going to make GD-ROMs. Boom, we figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, well, that was probably... the decision to make GD-ROMs was probably the first death rattle for the Dreamcast.
Yep.
And Sony struck lightning at the right time with DVD, and they had a more powerful platform. It was easier to program for, and way too many people had it. And that's where the games came out.
Well, same thing. I still think there are more than a few games that look so much better on the Dreamcast than they did on the PlayStation 2
Oh, absolutely.
at launch. Like,
And same
they
with the
were
original Xbox.
They were miles apart, and it was a matter of them cracking that processor for the PlayStation 2 that gave that thing life. And same thing with the original PlayStation.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
when that thing came out, like, the sheer progression in that is astounding.
Yep.
That they were able to get that much material out of that machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah, so, the Dreamcast just could never win. It would have only won
Yep.
had the PlayStation 2 never come out. Because it was clearly superior to the original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a sad story, and I hope someone... I hope
You know what-
someone comes out with a book at some point.
It's funny because on the gaming aspect and their presentation and all the little tchotchkes and everything they did with that system worked. Like, they got
Yep.
everything right except for timing.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
That's
If
Sega's
that would-
problem
if that
every
would've-
time.
If that would have been their Saturn, holy crap.
Yeah.
That would have been like
They're one of their major
Microsoft might not be in
problems.
the game.
One of their major problems is that was their second failed console that
Yeah.
landed at the wrong time, too early, after a string of failed handhelds. So,
Yeah.
like, when you look at Sega, it's not just that the Dreamcast failed, it's that nearly everything since the Genesis failed. And it just took them down.
Yeah.
Right. And the worst part is, there are high notes at every level on every piece of device they have put out.
Yep.
Except they cannot overcome those one or two mistakes that went so wrong.
Yep.
The Nomad is a crazy, impressive little piece of machinery.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a full-size Genesis in your hand.
If you can plug
you
it
can
in
play
a wall.
all your cartridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're within 2 feet of a wall.
Yeah.
The CDX might be the coolest gaming console I own.
Yep.
Like, that thing is amazing.
Same with the 32X. Super
Yeah.
cool. It just came... That was another timing thing. CDX and 32X came way too late. Like way too late in that generation.
Yep.
And just like without them pushing the boundary on the Sega CD,
Yep.
we might not have disc-based games because Nintendo sure as crap wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, they fought
No.
tooth and nail to not have, because they make so much money on making and distributing cartridges themselves. They control the entire pipeline.
Like that was so vertically integrated in Nintendo's favor, and Sega
absolutely.
just like, hey, we're going to try this crazy new shiny disc thing.
Yeah, it's really brittle, so be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, security? What's that?
Yeah. Oh crap.
That was another, actually. That was probably another big factor, was piracy.
Oh, for the Dreamcast, yeah.
Yeah.
People cracked
Pirate-
their that security within months, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
everybody has DVD burners now, like very suddenly.
Yeah.
You didn't even need
That was
DVD
once
burners, you
again.
need a CD burner.
That's true. Yeah.
It was once again timing.
Yep.
Had
But
that
even
come
that,
out.
even like Torfit, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, this thing failed.
What was they released a disc that just had a Genesis emulator on it.
yep.
What
Yeah,
was that?
I don't remember what it was called.
They were just like, whatever,
It was
we
like
wrote this,
Genesis
have fun.
Classics or something. It's just
Yeah.
like, who cares?
Yeah.
We'll make a little bit of money out of this. All right, next tweet coming in from the other Jay-Z. Is it just me, or have the PS4, PS Plus games been pretty lackluster so far? On the upside, I have a reason to turn on the PS3 for PASBR. You
Nice.
should download. You have like today to do it, but you should download Road Not Taken. That game is
Yeah.
really good. I really like PS Plus because it allows me to try games that I don't necessarily know if I would have plopped down the money for otherwise.
Yeah, I appreciate it the same way. And honestly, I can't complain about the PS4 games yet because the system's not even been out a year.
Yeah.
I don't expect to get really, truly, like, any AAA games or any really... I don't expect to see a game and go, oh, yeah, I was going to get that anyway.
Well, it's like, how long is
For
it going
like
to
a
take
year or
for The
two.
Last of Us to show up? Maybe a year?
Yeah.
Maybe two?
I don't think it will.
You know,
but
once the
that's just-
PS4 is pretty well seasoned, then you're going to start getting some pretty big games like that.
Yeah. You got to
it's
give
crazy.
it some
It
time.
hasn't been out a year yet.
No, it hasn't.
seems
Not
like it's been
quite.
out forever.
Yeah, and I think the hard part for PS Plus too is Sony is really going to start pushing PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
And I think the more that they can push that, the more money they make.
Mhm.
They're making really great money on PS Plus, but when compared to the money they could potentially make by renting games that they stream, I mean, that's a drop in a bucket compared
Absolutely.
to PS Now. So, I don't know. To me, I feel like it was very much like I have a college dorm attitude, where it's like, yeah, the food in the cafeteria is really not great. I already paid for that. It's free today.
Yeah.
Hey, it's food. Like I was only question. Hey, it's food. I don't have to go to T-Bell's and
Mhm.
eat some colon blow.
And like I'm well aware that I'm paying yearly for PlayStation Plus, but I'm not paying today.
Yeah, and like the fact that I own all three platforms, I'm maximizing my investment.
Totally.
Great.
Yeah, I'm going on the PSN store on the web every month and buying everything. Even
Yes.
if it's something
Yeah.
that I don't even necessarily think I'm gonna like PlayStation All Stars, I'm gonna download it because it's free.
Yeah, and I'm totally playing into their hands because I'll go on and I'll get the free games and I'll be like, oh, that looks cool too. Oh, it's only $10, only $15.
Oh, they
and I'll
have,
just
oh, they have Wizorb on here. Let me pick that up.
and it's like it's a mental game that they're playing and it's totally working and I so don't
It's
care.
the candy bars in the checkout aisle. We're like,
Yes.
ooh, I haven't had Snickers in years.
bars.
All right.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what? If
Load them up.
Yeah.
if I own two platforms, I might. Oh wait.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. All right, let's move on to emails.
Emails?
First one up is from Moonpier.
Hey.
He wrote us last week, but we kind of ran out of time. He says, hey guys, quick question and a note. Note first, hey Boston, did you know that the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes app includes a build mother base free-to-play game, similar to the base building from MGS Peace Walker? I did not, but I know that the Phantom Pain, you can build mother base and then walk around it. So that's gonna be
It's
awesome.
exciting.
All right, now the question. most impact music has had on you during gaming. He says, for me, top 3 moments. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 3, climbing the giant ladder while that song slowly fades in. Loved it despite the ridiculousness. Yeah, that's a really great, really dumb Metal Gear Solid moment where you're like, wait, first off, how large is this ladder? I've been climbing for about 5 minutes, and I was like, is someone playing some? Is that the game? Is that that dumb 70s? Oh, that's Snake Eater. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. That was dumb.
Other Jay-Z points out Brutal Legend.
Like
so
all
there,
of it?
Well, like all of it, but there's a very specific part where you burst into a stage battle, one of the RTS battles, and it opens up with the song "Progenies of the Great Apocalypse" by Dimmu Borgir.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
But that is like the best way to open a battle because you just got this huge. Because that band is just a huge sound. It's symphonic black metal.
Yeah.
So you have a symphony backing a metal band, and it just the way that song opens up is the most epic thing in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know, the Mr. Crowley moment might
That
be
was
one
the
of
thing.
my
Mr. Crowley was good too.
That's my high point in that game where you're just like, oh, that was badass. Oh,
yeah. Because
man.
Um,
you go down, you're just fighting, and it's just it's so brutal.
Yeah.
The score for Mass Effect 2 going into that very end when you're running back to the Normandy, I was so jacked with that, like, I can't even describe it. It's just
that's really interesting because his number 2 is Mass Effect 2, the surge of music as the Normandy SR2 is revealed. To me,
that's a good.
Yeah.
To me, like Mass Effect 1 and 2, I think are some of the best. Jack Wall wrote music that is so tied into that game. Like, you can hear the first couple of notes from that mapped music, and you're like, I gotta play Mass Effect. Guys, where's my copy of Mass Effect? We have to, where'd that go? I gotta do that.
Or that little, that bling, bling, like right as the opening credits come around, and like the crest of the sun, like, oh!
That's just the stuff where you, like, I love a great soundtrack that complements the game. It's not, the problem I have with so many popcorn movie Hollywood soundtracks is it's Cliff's Notes for how you're supposed to feel. And so many games are
write that down. It's really good.
Thank you. But you know what I mean, where it's like remember MTV in the early 2000s where they play like those specials, and it's like the True Life specials, and when the person's having the toughest time, Coldplay's Trouble comes in. And it's and it's just like, I know what you're going for, but you're pulling the heartstrings a little too hard. But when you look at Mass Effect 1 and 2, the music is just there to kind of help the story out a little bit, but it's never like, here's the part where you cry. You know, it's never about here's how to feel. It's just here's a little bit of help.
So this actually, I didn't even mention this when I was talking about The Last of Us, but the music in that game, there's not a lot of it.
Yeah.
But the little that there is perfect.
It's outstanding.
It's phenomenal, and it comes in at just the right moments, and it's just the right thing, and it's just
my favorite piece of music from that game is when you start that game up and there's just the like press start menu, and it's just like that window with the curtains flapping, and it's just a dude with a guitar. Yeah. That song is so outstanding. Like when I first picked up that game, I was just like, I'll just leave it here for a little bit. Like, I'm okay. That's $60. Sure, I'm good.
Gonna relax.
Yeah. And his number 1 pick is he says, "Winner by a mile," and believe Boston has spoken of this moment in the past. The song is "Compass" from Red Dead Redemption. It's that amazing moment where you're riding your horse at the very end of the game back to your family. Like, you finally get back to the farm.
Haven't quite beaten it yet.
Oh my god, it's just...
I know.
It's... Red Dead Redemption is not a great game. Don't let anyone lie to you. It's okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But that moment is just... Like, it's just you, there's very few sound effects, and you're riding your horse... And it's just this moment you've been working towards throughout, like, this 30-hour game. And it's another, like, a guy singing this kind of southern folk song, and it's just very, very little guitar work, and you're just riding for miles and miles and miles as you're as you're getting towards your family, and it's just it's so effective. Like, that's when Rockstar is at their best, is when they can take a piece of music that somebody else wrote and put it in their game at exactly the right moment. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
God. I say the most impact for me that has had on me during gaming, of all games of all time, is Rez's Area 5.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's one of those things where you're playing it and you're like, I don't know what is happening, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what this song is, but there's something it's doing to me. Like, with the sound effects and the vibration and the graphics, and it's just like all of it came together, and you're just like, man, this is what games can be.
Yeah.
And it's
that
crazy.
Game is that
sure,
area is just it's just the full buildup of it.
Yeah.
And like that, even that whole game, just, man, talk about that game knew how to crescendo like I've never seen.
Yeah, just building up over only 5 levels. One of the shortest games you will play has had so much impact on the industry overall.
Yeah.
I can't help but say, like, I love Area 5. Area 5 is like, but just behind it is Area 4.
Yeah. Rocket Sponge.
Yeah, it's just that rolling drum beat the entire, like, you are so pumped by the time you finish that level. When the cars get like, you're like, oh, and you're chasing that thing through the tunnels and its feet are landing on the downbeats. It's the coolest thing. Like, one of my favorite moments in gaming and music. Like, like, the music ceased to be and this being came in front of me.
Yeah.
Nice. My favorite of all time is still Alan Wake. The Farm, because it caps off just a really long segment, and just it caps it off perfectly, and just like you and Barry going back, like the back and forth dialogue that's happening, because the fact that the characters are just as confused and just as like into the fact that this is happening as you are is pitch perfect.
You know, I as much as people continually forget Alan Wake, I think so many people forget that soundtrack. That soundtrack is beautiful. That's one of the best, like, light strings, light piano. Like, it is this outstanding, very sparse soundtrack that doesn't really play through the game. And I'm sort of ignoring the licensed music that they play between chapters,
which is also fantastic.
I think that was implemented really poorly, but I think it fits really well. But God, that game is beautiful. And the other Jay-Z in chat is completely right. Bastion.
Yeah.
Bastion is beautiful. I mean,
build that wall, man.
So many games have such amazing soundtracks, and so, like, it just such great stuff that, I mean, and then compared to, like, Mario Brothers 1.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk about the dungeon theme. Just like where you go in the castle and you go underground and you're like, this is kind of spooky. I'm like 7. Yeah. Oh man, so much good music. I'll just talk about it for the rest of my life. But
sweet,
I should probably do a podcast about that someday.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, next email from Dark Inertia, aka Jeff. He says, what's a game you've put off for far too long, and when you finally got around to playing it, you were kicking yourself because you should have played it sooner? I finally got around to playing Half-Life 2 since the first time I got up until the speedboat part when I lost my save, and wow, I finally see what everyone freaks out about over Half-Life. It's probably my favorite FPS game other than Doom 2. It held up well, and most FPS games nowadays don't even come close to how amazing the story is told in this game without the use of boring cutscenes. And then here's another question.
Boring cutscenes, even a silent protagonist.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing they're able to convey anything to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What game have I missed for so long and I went back to?
I completely missed Oblivion when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
And that was actually my introduction to the Elder Scrolls series.
Yeah.
And I played that not too long before Skyrim came out, actually, just because I had been curious about it, and I think I picked it up on a Steam sale, and I was just really impressed with just the world, even from that. And then I got into I tried to get into Morrowind and like couldn't get that for a few years. Morrowind's probably the bigger one actually.
Yeah.
Because once I got into that, I was sold 100%.
Dimebag in chat, I think, probably has mine, which is Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
Where it's that when it came out and you're like, nah, I don't, that doesn't, come on, guys, that sounds pretty dumb. And then, like, this snowball effect of everybody being so excited about this game that looked so dumb.
Yeah.
I eventually picked it up and played it, and I was like, man, wow, I really missed out on this game. I need to tell everybody about this now. Toxic Joker brings up a good one, Crackdown. I feel like a lot of people, you know, it's the game that the Halo 3, 4 demo came with. Yeah, and that game was just completely outstanding, and I'm so glad that people had a chance to finally crack that away from Halo 3. No pun intended.
Well,
what about you, Knobs? What about a game you waited for a while to? You were gone, so we talked about Sleeping Dogs, Crackdown, and Oblivion.
I think Sleeping Dogs will be one, definitely, if I ever get around to playing it. No, I'll tell you one. God of War.
Yeah. You put that one off?
I waited probably 2 years before I was like, oh, come on. I was still heavy in my Xbox phase, where all I played was on Xbox, and then God of War came out, and I was like, we just graduated college, and I was up doing adult things for a while, and then I finally caved, and I think I bought it in I had it in 2003, 2004.
It's probably like $5.
Yeah, and I was like, how did I miss this?
Yeah.
I remember the demo coming out for that game when I was still working retail, and everyone was talking about it because people were someone showed it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, what's that on? Is that a PC game? They're like, no, that's on a PlayStation 2, and my jaw hit the floor.
Yeah, that was like
that game looked so good.
That was like a $1 million selling demo. Like that. Yeah. That was one of the demos where you can point at and say like, this thing just caught wildfire.
Yeah, absolutely. That and Guitar Hero was another demo that came out. It wasn't even a demo. They sent the full game in advance
just
to retail stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Dimebag brings up one Fez for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fez, Fez good. Metroid Prime. Because I didn't own a whatchamacallit and vis-a-vis the the Mario Party games.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I never owned a Nintendo system until the GameCube, reluctantly.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was trying to think of another one. But the God of War is a good one. Fez was another one that I waited for way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His second question here is, now that I've finished it, I've been going back and playing Half-Life 2 mods, including Black Mesa, which is a complete conversion of Half-Life 2 for the Half-Life 1 story, since I never played the first one. Did you guys ever get into Half-Life 2 modding? I never did, but I always wanted to install that mod that one guy did where he replaced all the sound effects with sounds he made with his mouth.
Yeah.
Or if you shoot into wood, it's just like plock, plock, plock.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I just, there's something about it. Like, he recreates every sound effect perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But
what was the one? It was like wah 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 wah.
Yeah, but it's to the point. It's a perfect recreation of that sound effect, but he still makes sure you know that he did it with his mouth.
Yes.
It's so funny.
I never got into Half-Life modding, but I did, outside of Counterstrike, which was a mod for the original Half-Life.
Yeah.
But that was about as far as I took that. I think I probably installed a few mods back in the day that were just smaller things. But the game that really turned me on to modding was Skyrim.
Oh, yeah.
And actually probably well before that, Doom. Just downloading WAD files and throwing them in the directory.
I did that for Doom every summer.
Like the Star Wars Total Conversion, and more recently Brutal Doom.
Yeah.
These are full engine conversions you're talking at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite mods, what was it? I've lost it. A lot of the stupid stuff for UT, like the murder ball stuff.
Okay.
I just like I love maps. I love new maps.
Yeah.
Maps they're just so much fun just to see. Wow, someone who thought of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
How did
like
you
the
even
best
make
moments.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's all the tweets and emails we have this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to our show. You can follow us at tvgp.tv. Email us tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp, and everything else is on the right-hand side of the page.
And don't forget to join the forums. Please mark yourselves on the map. Come join us for our community game nights, which is Monday night game night, going almost 8 years strong now.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
We're playing Battlefield 4 right now on the Xbox One, so looking to get something going on the PlayStation 4. Steam game nights on Thursdays, 10 p.m. EST. Come join us for some fun.
Yep, and I also believe the folks in the forums are trying to get a PS4 Wednesday night game night going.
Nice.
And I don't know if there's anything set there, but check out the forums and see what people have to say about that one.
Yeah, throw your name in the hat.
Current TVGP Game Club game is, of course, Saints Row the Third. I have played it and beaten it before, so I'm not currently playing it. If I get around to it, I will probably at least refresh my memory on it.
Yeah.
That's
before
not
we do the
super
recap.
ethical at all. Gank, you'd be upset.
Come on. I have a full-time job, man.
Whoa. Slow
Whoa,
your roll,
starting to fight
buddy.
But no, I do plan on playing it, if not to completion, at least the majority of the story before we do record the recap. And yeah.
All right, and you can watch us live, twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Happy Labor Day. We'll see you all next week.
Laters.
Peace.
All right, titles.
All
Sorry,
right.
I had to bounce out. I had to get the dogs outside because the pizza dude was coming.
Oh,
Thank you, Domino's app.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I've got a few here, and then I've got a bunch from Jay-Z and chat. So I've got Squad Annihilation, Welcome to the Knobs Killbox, Expert Level Only, Sorry for the Shaky Cam, Gauntlet with Loot, Hot New Legendaries, Noob Polish, Am I Above Sea Level? Where's My Happy Median? Just Loft It, Splintering Your User Base, 3DS XLU, It's the One on the Left, Kickstart the NES 2, Too Big for the Internet, Cliff's Notes for How You're Supposed to Feel.
That's so good.
That's what I always refer to it as that.
Yeah, it is. Let's see
In
what
case
shows.
in case you don't know, you're supposed to be sad. Here's Coldplay.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
Coldplay's Trouble.
You're supposed to feel good. Here's Conway Twitty.
Toxic Joker in chat has a few here. Colon Blow, which was that an SNL commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look it up. It's Phil Hartman. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's still really good.
Yeah. A whole bunch of visceral material, Garbaggio, and rail thin yellow smiley headed dude. And then I have a whole ton from Jay-Z, so let's power through this list.
Okay.
The Knobs Kill Box, the entire Frieza saga, 3 Random Guys, Golf by Mail, Mountain Goatin', Puppies Galore, So Many Weird Shortcuts, Golfing on the Downswing, Golf Really Isn't Boring, Drop It Like It's Skype, Things Got a Little Hairy, If You Don't Like It, You're Wrong, Ludicrous Speed, Interrupting Bunts, Clicker, Please, More Stuff to Make More Things With, You Have a Beard, You Know How to Do Stuff, Forged Steel, Crapshay, I don't know if that's supposed to be that or not, Full On Desperation, Is This an Intervention, I Get the Impression She's Enjoying It, Forgive the Phrasing, Tripping on Rails, Changing Dials and Knobs, Putting is a Disaster, Happy Gilmoring Every Hole, Punching Out from Under Trees, Outgrowing Tiger Woods, Loading, Enhance, 5 Minutes More Difficult, Cool Tiny Little Games, Astringent Comment from Pikmin, Counterstrike is Everybody's Grandpa, Stacking All the Chips, Vice City's Right Around the Corner, A String of Failed Handhelds, Cliff Notes for How You're Supposed to Feel, A Dude with a Guitar, There's something it's doing to me. This is what games can be. I was really impressed with the world. $1 million demo. He makes sure you know how he did it with his mouth.
Oh, wow.
And I love new maps.
Wow, we are subversive, aren't we?
All right, I wrote down 4.
All right, what do you got?
Out of these fantastic suggestions. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Jason.
3DS XLU.
Okay.
Garbaggio.
Okay.
5 minutes more difficult.
Uh-huh.
And Counterstrike is everybody's grandpa.
Oh, that's good.
I like Counterstrike because everyone's grandpa.
Yeah, I kind of like that one a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that one.
All right.
Oh, I forgot.
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
Is pretty good.
And also, click a please. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 358 for September 1st, 2014. Counter-Strike is everybody's grandpa.
Sniper!
Back in 1.5.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching the show. We broke knobs. See you next week. Bye.